This is bad. This is diabolical. Actually, this is potentially one of the most damaging things I've seen in the nursing profession. University of North Carolina Health Medical Center recently announced that they are transitioning their staffing to a bid shift model beginning October 2nd. With bid shift, teammates request open shifts at a specific premium rate of pay. Other eligible staff may request the same shift at progressively lower rates of pay while the shift remains open for bidding. And then the shifts will be generally awarded to the lowest bid submitted. I'm asking every nurse out there to really take a minute to try to understand how damaging this is and what the long-term effects of this are going to be. They're pitting nurses against each other. They're treating full-time employees like contract workers. We all lose with this. This will drive all wages down. This is a competition to work for less money. This is brilliantly diabolical. Like, whoever came up with this, a genius, and going straight to hell. Diabolical. This is going to have such... I'm so angry. Please, please do not accept these shifts. Do not work those extra shifts. You are selling out every other nurse when you do that, because what I've always told you, what you put in place in one area carries over to other areas. You let this become the norm there, before we know it, it will be everywhere. Just think back to COVID. Did anything go back to the way it was before? You must stick together and not work any of those extra shifts. Do not bid on any of those extra shifts. And I'm going to take it a step further. This is almost as bad as crossing a strike line. You are going to have that kind of long-term detrimental effects if nurses start doing this. Do not accept these shifts. Do not sell out nurses everywhere. And just don't be stupid and work for less money.
Okay, I understand why she's upset, because nurses are already doing a very demanding job, and now they are looking at a system where the pay of an extra shift can be competitive. That's enough reason for them to be asking questions like, who is going to benefit from this whole thing?
UNC Health is pitting nurses against each other to drive down pay. Allegedly. As a part of UNC Health's Forward Together campaign, they've decided to integrate this program called Bid Shift. Bid Shift takes the highest paying nursing shifts, these critical shifts that they cannot get covered, and gives nurses the opportunity to undercut one another for that shift. Spokesperson for UNC said, "Don't worry, this will not reduce nurses' pay." Really? Really? You think we're that dumb? You think if you have two nurses with similar levels of experience and skill, one bidding lower than the other one, that you're not going to take that into account? So out of the kindness of your heart, you will actually consider giving a higher critical pay to one nurse versus the other one that bids at a lower rate. We're not idiots. This is horrible for nurses everywhere. This is going to drive down the market overall, not just for these critical shifts. Healthcare workers should just flat out refuse to use software like this. Once it's implemented in one place and they're finding success, that's going to be ubiquitous. So, Bid Shift, we're going to go ahead and give you that.
Now, this is the part that is really concerning, because if one nurse says I will take it for this much and another nurse come in lower, you can already see how this could turn into a race of button. And I think that's the biggest fear that these nurses are having.
You might want to sit down because this one is probably going to piss you off. This is UNC Health, an organization with over 50,000 employees, and many of them are nurses. Why am I telling you this? Because UNC is changing the way these nurses' shifts are scheduled, and they're changing it in a way that will allow UNC to pay them as little as possible while pitting them against one another. Because UNC is moving to what they call a bid shift program. It sounds like a fun little game, right? Not so much. This is how it works. For critical staffing shifts, also known as premium shifts, which are shifts that are so important to the organization that they traditionally pay a higher hourly wage, the hospital now allows nurses to compete with each other by offering a progressively lower rate until the hospital awards the shift potentially to the lowest bidder. It's a reverse auction, people, but one where life-saving professionals are asked to bid against each other's wages in a race to the bottom for a system that obviously rewards low-wage acceptance instead of professional skills. A system where the employer, the hospital, like an overweight emperor, steps aside and watches gladiators dressed like nurses fight each other for a paycheck. Are you a single mother who could use the shift but needs to pay for childcare while you cover this critical shift? Sorry, there's a nurse who lives with his parents who's probably gonna outbid you. I'm sure that the conversation between you two at the upcoming company picnic's not gonna be awkward at all. So there you have it. The men and women America praised as heroes just a few years ago who dedicated their life to literally saving us and the people we love, those people are being asked by their employer, whose services are so expensive that they cause 530,000 people to file for bankruptcy each year, to decide who's gonna be paid the least to fill a shift that they call critical. Is this the flavor of capitalism we're supposed to embrace and encourage? I'm just asking for a non-billionaire friend of mine.
And I think he puts his finger on a bigger issue. If a shift is so difficult to fill that you have to offer extra money, maybe we should be asking why that shift is so hard to fill in the first place. That's the question I will be asking. Now, let's be fair. This is about extra or premier shift, not nurses binding down their normal base salary. But I can still understand why nurses are side eyeing this whole thing, because on paper, it sounds like a great way to get open shift covered, right? But if the system encourages people to accept less and less money just to get the shift, that's where the concern comes in. And honestly, I don't think anyone wants to see nurses turn against each other over money. And the hospital needs the nurses, and the nurses needs the fair pay, and most importantly, the patients need experienced people taking care of them. So I am very curious to see how this actually play out, because if this works the way people are worried about it, and I think we are going to have a lot more to talk about. But that's my take, guys, on this. So what do you think about the bind shift system? Would you take an extra shift or less money, or would you say no, I'm good? Let me know in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next one. I am Joy. Thank you for joining me today. Bye for now.